Hey everyone, Leanne here from Kingdom Bloggers. So today I want to talk to you about things I would do differently if I was starting a Christian blog today versus say 2 or 3 years ago. Unless you've been living under a rock in the blogging world, you know that the landscape has significantly changed in the last year. Really in the last couple of years, but in this past 12 months, it's changed drastically thanks to Google. Prior to, 2024, our primary concern really was building a foundation for SEO. This is what I taught in all of my blogging courses, my boot camp, and everything. But as with really anything in the world, things change. And so my strategy has changed. And so the strategy that I'm teaching my students has also had to change. And so I'm going to break down today. If you are brand new to this, if you are like thinking, I want to start a Christian blog, this video is for you. If you've been at it for a little while, or maybe you've started it in the last year and you're just not really making any headway, you're trying to figure out like, hey, what do I do now that Google has really put a wrench in things? So I'm going to kind of give you 6 things that I would do differently today if I was starting a blog, a Christian blog. I mean, really, this applies to any blogging niche, but I'm really speaking to the Christian content creators. As I said before, everything was really designed around the foundation of SEO because we wanted to make Google happy. Well, it seems these days you just can't make Google happy. That's like a losing battle. And so instead of putting all of our eggs in the one basket, so to speak, which is what we used to do, and it worked great until it didn't, now you kind of have to look at different ways to build your traffic. Now, I don't want to do it in a way that's going to overwhelm me or you. And so having a strategy from the beginning is going to help you create a routine that's going to work for your schedule, that you can adequately keep up with, and that's not just going to make you crazy, but that's also going to have you doing things that will be fruitful, because there's a lot of tasks in blogging that are what I call busy work. You feel productive because you're getting stuff done, but they really have no implication to the outcome. Like you're just really spinning your wheels, and there's really no fruit coming from that labor. And so I have a lot of videos that talk about that on my channel that you can go back and look at. But today I'm going to share with you the things that I would specifically do kind of in this order, but that I would do different today than when I started my first blog, I should say, Christian blog back in 2018. So, number one, of course, and this is regardless of whether you did it then or now, you have to define and research your audience. You can't just start a blog and be like, I'm just going to talk about whatever. And you have to really focus it to a particular audience. And then with that audience, what's the purpose? I will link a video in the notes below, in the video description, about what does my audience want? Like, how do I find my audience? But that is the number one crucial thing. And this was all along, this hasn't changed. You have to have a purpose and a person that your content is made for. That way you start bringing that audience. And when you're focused to a specific person and purpose, your content's all going to work together. You're not just sort of all over the place. You have to have a purpose. And that purpose isn't you sharing your feelings. Nobody cares about your feelings. I mean, I'm not saying that to be mean, but people don't go to Google or go to Pinterest or go to social media to Google or search, I wonder what Leanne was thinking today. That's just not how it works. Regardless of the platform, whether it's social media, whether it's a search engine, whether it's Pinterest, people go there and type very specific types of query. They're seeking out specific resources or information. And so in your research, you're going to figure that out. And so your content, no matter what kind of content it is, if it's blog, it's YouTube, it's products, whatever, your content needs to address those things that they are looking for, those pain points, those, whatever it is. And as a Christian mom blogger, it could be, tips for, being more organized, resources to help your kids, things like that. As a Bible study blogger, it could literally be condensed mini Bible studies, devotional content, and things like that. And I'm not going to dive into the specifics of how you create that in this video. I have plenty of other content on my channel that can show you that. But you have to reel it in. It's not about you. sharing what you think. It's about you providing an answer or providing resources to help what somebody else is looking for. Okay. Okay. Number two. Now, this is where it starts changing. As I mentioned before, our primary focus was SEO. If I was to start my blog today or my ministry, I would focus less on SEO and more on my audience. So, what does that mean? I'm not saying get rid of SEO completely. If you're using tools such as RankIQ and things like that, they can be really helpful creating the SEO part of your content. As to whether Google will actually give you kudos for it and like rank your stuff, that really nobody knows what Google is thinking these days. You know, all the SEO we've learned over the years is just a moot point at this time. Like things that we know to have been true for the last 5 years, whatever, just no longer works. Some of us are gaining traffic back. Some new bloggers are doing well in the SEO, but the problem with that is even if you were on the gain side, you're doing SEO and it's working for you, take it from experience, not just me, but all the bloggers who've been doing this for a while. Google can just rip that out from under you in a second. And that's what it did. I went from over 140,000 monthly sessions to less than like 45,000 overnight, almost from August of last year until like January. Like it wasn't even a slow growth. It was like, hey, Marianas Trench in the middle of the ocean. That's kind of what it was. And so, because of that, building your foundation solely on SEO means that when that happens, you are going to lose big time. That's what happened here. Well, almost. I mean, I did have some other platforms like Pinterest and stuff. So, if you start your foundation, foundations are still important. Start your foundation, but don't make it solely an SEO foundation. So, what does that mean? You have your SEO content, but within that, creating content that's more focused on your audience. So, for example, Bible reading plans. Let's take that as an example. If you have a 12-month Bible reading plan, and so each month it's a different topic. So, you have that page that's SEO'd, and people that Google monthly Bible reading plans find your page. Instead of just creating like PDF versions of the plan with nothing else, whatever the topic of that plan is, let's say it's about confidence or enemy strongholds or don't give the enemy a foothold, whatever it is, for the reading plan itself, create 1 to 2 what I call devotional pieces of content. So these don't necessarily have any SEO value, but they directly relate to the topic of discussion for that reading plan. And so when someone finds the reading plan via Google, via Pinterest, or whatever, that link to those internal links are ways to get people to that content and provide value to help the reader, not Google. And so this can be applied to really any type of content. If you have devotional content, and we'll talk about Pinterest in a minute, but Pinterest is a really great way to get that content also found beyond just that initial Bible reading plan. So focus less on SEO, focus more on ways to serve your audience based on whatever it is that they're searching for. Okay. So number 3, create repurpose minded content. What does that mean? A lot of times we create content in what I call one and done it. I'm creating this blog post to serve this search query for SEO. And I'm not really thinking beyond that. And I get these questions all the time, like, I have all this content. How do I go back and start figuring out internal links? Well, the reality is you should have thought of that when you were creating the content. When you create a piece of repurpose minded, you're number one thinking, what other content can I create to go with this? But more importantly, how am I going to repurpose it? So I have a blog post that's about whatever topic. Let's say, I don't know, enemy footholds. Okay. So that was a reading plan. I have this one blog post. I'm not creating this just for the link to in the Bible reading plan for the month. I want to create a video for my YouTube channel based on this topic. I'm not reading the blog post in the video, but I want to create a video so that I can also build my YouTube channel. And then you may also think of, based on this topic, what are some 60 to 90 second videos for shorts and reels that I could create based on either maybe the verses in this particular video. So you could do like a verse of the day based on those. And then you read the verse and tie it to the topic of enemy footholds or something like that. So, a lot of times we're like, well, I need to build my blog and my YouTube. I just don't have time for social media. I don't know what to create for there. Well, if you are creating repurpose minded content, you're creating content that you can easily extract those video ideas from, those social media videos from, and things like that. And then also maybe how to turn it into products. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, number 4. So the repurpose minded content, that's like when you're creating the content. So, of course, if you're starting a blog, you want to start your YouTube channel as well. I would start my blog and my YouTube from day one. Don't like build your blog and then decide go build your YouTube channel. Start building them concurrently, again, with that repurpose minded content. So even if you're not ready to do full on videos, like I'm doing now, start it with doing the shorts. Let's say you're not ready to build full length videos. You can start building a YouTube following simply from creating those 60-second shorts. So if the video was about, or I'm sorry, if the blog post was about enemy footholds, don't give the enemy a foothold. So you have this long, blog post. I'm sure you mentioned a few Bible verses in it. So do a Bible verse of the day from those verses and tie it to the topic. Like what does this verse mean for us as it applies to enemy foothold? And so it's a really great way to start building that YouTube channel without, taking a whole lot of extra time, because it's a 60-second video. Like the amount of recording might be a little over a minute with all the ums, and then you cut it. Total time from record to publish on YouTube in the shorts feed could take like 3 minutes, 3 minutes of your day. If you don't have that, you could record it and then go, honestly, sit on the toilet and use CapCut on your phone to edit it. It's not that hard. A lot of times we overthink the process, and that overthinking makes us think it's like this whole big thing when it's really not. So create those shorts to start building your YouTube channel until you're ready. And then when you're ready, don't like, well, where do I begin? Go back to the content on your blog that you've already created and figure out how to create devotional video style content based on the topic of those blog posts. It's very, very simple. Don't reinvent the wheel. So you've created the shorts. Now, because a lot of people are like, well, I just don't have time to be on all the social platforms. There's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's Facebook, and all the things. I just don't have time. But you do. If you are creating those 60-second shorts to build your YouTube channel, you can just in like 5 minutes or less open the app for Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook and upload them as videos there. That is what I do every single morning. So I'm not intentionally building TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm not actively building those. I'm actively building my YouTube with shorts and long form content. But since I've already created the video, 60 seconds works on all those platforms. Those other platforms have different time limits, like 90 seconds and I think 10 minutes and something like that. But 60 seconds works for all of them. So if you've already created it, start publishing to those as well. And by the way, you can also share them to Pinterest. So a lot of times, again, we're overthinking, I can't be in all the places. But if you've already created content, approach your building of the ministry from a repurpose mindset. Create everything from the mindset of this is going to be repurposed. And so I need to create it with the intention of being repurposed. Okay. Number 5, maximize the power of freebies. We're not talking about building your email list at this point. Y'all know how I feel about that. Don't wait until you actually have an audience and you're getting traffic. Put that aside, because that's like a whole nother time spent that just overwhelms you. But if you're creating, say, devotional style content based on biblical topics, even as a mom blogger, but if you're a Bible study blogger and you wrote that blog post about don't let the enemy get a foothold, and then you created some videos and things like that to go along with it, you can create freebies and call it a Bible study lesson, okay? And I will link that video as well, because this probably will make sense if you see the video. But you have the video, you have the blog post, you create a PDF that's clickable and put a link and or a QR code. So the video you're going to embed in the blog post, right? And then the blog post is going to be linked in the video notes. But the PDF that's clickable, and you call it Don't Give the Enemy a Foothold Bible Study Lesson. And it's just a simple link, a clickable link in the PDF, and or I would recommend putting a QR code, which you can easily do right in Canva for free, so that when they click it or scan it, it goes to the video or the blog post or both. And then you put them on Gumroad, because Gumroad lets you put freebies that people sometimes pay you for, even if they don't, they do sometimes. And so every time somebody finds that on Gumroad, and in order to access the actual material, they have to go to your blog or your YouTube channel. So it's a great way to build extra traffic. This is what I'm doing, and I get a lot of traffic from my Gumroad freebies. And then the final one, number 6, will help with that one and all the others, but you should have Pinterest from day one. I know Pinterest is kind of overwhelming for some people. Your blog should be optimized for Pinterest, but you need to start a Pinterest account, get your boards created. Everything you create, the blog post, the video, the link to the freebie on Gumroad, those are all URLs that you can create pins for, that then you pin on Pinterest, that people can find you and lead back to those places. This is a great way to build like consistent, what I call residual traffic. Pinterest, for one of my websites, I have 3, is my number 1 source of traffic. Google just killed that site. I'm slowly making some gains, but Pinterest is still number 1. But a lot of my freebies, because I have UTM tracking codes and things like that, a lot of the traffic that I get to them are from the pins that lead to the Gumroad freebie. And so, a lot of people don't even know they can do this. So again, I will make sure to link in the notes here about the Create Gumroad freebies, Bible studies and things like that. So that is all. So of course, research your audience, figure out what do they want, where they at. Focus less on SEO and more on actually serving your audience, not your own thoughts and wishes. Create repurpose minded content. Don't ever create one and done it content, ever, ever, ever. Everything that you create, you should already have a vision of how you're going to repurpose it. Create a YouTube channel from day one, even if it's only for shorts. Then repurpose those shorts across all the other platforms so you can build them all simultaneously without any extra effort. Well, I mean, it's the extra effort of opening it on your app, hitting upload, literally. This is what I do every morning. I record my video, edit in CapCut. I actually record 2 videos because I have 2 channels. I have blogging and I have my faith channel. So I do 2 every morning. And the time it takes me to record, edit in CapCut, and upload to YouTube, TikTok, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, and Pinterest takes me less than 5 minutes for 2 videos, right? 2 channels. So it's super, super easy. It doesn't take a lot of extra time. If you are starting a blog today, these are the things that I would recommend that you do. Now, I know it might sound like a lot, but if you take the time to learn how these things work first, don't just jump in and be like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? No, take the time to learn it. Lay out your strategy. Like, who are you trying to reach and for what purpose? Okay, let's lay that strategy out. What does that look like? And then begin creating your content from there. Now, again, I make it sound easy. You have to do it within the time constraints that you have. Don't overwhelm yourself. But blogging we're at the end of 2024, so going into 2025, blogging today looks much different than it did 2 years ago. I mean, 5 years ago, I was saying this about 10 years ago, but things have changed drastically over the last 2 years, really over the last year. Now you have AI technology and just everything's changing. And so you can be mad about it, you can get frustrated, or you can adapt and keep moving forward, right? We have to focus on the mission, and how we accomplish that is just going to look different. But blogging in this day and age, 24 going into 25, it is possible. I'm doing it with 3 websites. I've just had to dramatically adjust my strategies and how I'm going about it. And so if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below, or of course, hop over to my Facebook group. I would love to help you kind of brainstorm or map out what that's going to look like for you. And of course, I have tons of video tutorials all through my channel on all the things I talked about today, but I will link the two about researching your audience and about the Gumroad studies down in the down below. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you guys all in the next video. God bless. Bye-bye.